Nick Gregory is rejoining us right now. You have done some research as far as the flight paths are concerned, because this is a conversation that we had a little bit earlier this afternoon.
Yes, and what I did was I went down to my office and I picked up one of these flight charts that all pilots use. This is a high-altitude flight chart, and I looked up the route of flight that these planes out of Boston would be flying to Los Angeles, and it's actually further off course than we were originally speaking, because the route of flight should have taken both of those aircraft out of Boston up over southern New Hampshire, up over southern Vermont, then over Syracuse, New York, Buffalo, and then out over Michigan before turning a little more southwestward to go to Los Angeles. So, which leads speculation to a couple of things. One, you could say then that this hijacking occurred probably right after takeoff, because as we were also talking earlier, when the way these aircraft are programmed to fly, the flight crews put in that assigned flight plan prior to leaving the gate, and once they take off from their departure airport, they usually hit the computer button at about 1,000 feet, and the autopilot really flies it the rest of the way.
So would the control tower know immediately that the plane was not on target?
Yes, because the first clearance would have been for these airplanes to fly to Manchester, New Hampshire. That's what's called their first fix, or their first navigational point that they should cross over. And Manchester, New Hampshire is the opposite direction to New York City. So from that standpoint, that leads me to believe that the hijacking occurred immediately after takeoff.
And would anybody in the flight control tower have to do anything, any kind of emergency, if they realize that somebody is not going on the path that they're supposed to be going?
Absolutely.
Would they have to sound any kind of emergency
Well, they would first try to contact the aircraft. They would call the particular flight and say, "You're supposed to be going to Manchester, New Hampshire. Why are you not proceeding that way?" And then the flight crew could be indeed responding, "We've been hijacked." Or, you know, maybe they weren't unable to respond.
How fast would they be going at that point?
Well, they'd be in their climb speed, so they'd probably be doing about 250 miles an hour, 250 to 300 miles an hour.
Okay, so but we're talking about minutes here that they're actually being aware of. There's a difference in the flight path.
Oh,
right?
yes,
I mean,
absolutely.
It's not like they had a half an hour to figure out that a plane was
Oh, they probably figured it out pretty quickly. Now, the question we're going to have to find out here, or the answer to this question would be, what did air traffic control know? I mean, did the flight crew say, "We are being hijacked"? And where are they being hijacked to? New York? Did the hijackers actually say, "Take us to Kennedy Airport in New York," or "Take us to Newark," to get them in the general New York City area? But this again leads me to believe that immediately after takeoff, something happened. And how much? And again, to be able to fly from Boston to New York, remember, that's about a 35-minute flight.
Yes.
Okay, and these planes don't just navigate there by themselves.
I mean, I'm sure the FBI has already listened to that flight recording
over and over and over again, and I'm sure they're interviewing all the controllers and other pilots that were in the air at that same time.
More details will be coming out certainly in the next day or so. Nick, thank you very much.